audio test on my side.
Make sure that yours is coming through.
Check. Check. Hey, yo, check.
This is my new podcast. Why is
Truman looking like a god right now.
Hey, let's go. Is it recording?
Yeah, we're going.
We going on there?
Wait, do we need to do a clap?
Yeah, do it.
Everybody, clap your hands. Oh, that's gonna. We gotta do a new clap. That's gonna throw it off.
Here we go.
Okay, and then
Whoopsie.
crack her open, little sip skis to get us going.
You got that 300 milligrams of caffeine.
What is that? Oh, Black Rifle.
Yeah, Black Rifle.
Let's go. I never had one of those. Is it like creamy?
Yeah.
Or is it just like black?
No, it's creamy. All right,
Well, let's hop into it. Well, I guess we'll start off with a welcome back to Conversations with Humans. I am Mike Ritchie, and I'm sitting here with Truman Mylan and...
Hey, we got Adam over here. Whoops. Wow. Just flipped off the camera trying to do a hang loose. Whoops.
Yeah, we're free on this
Literally
podcast.
What's up, guys?
We don't have a network controlling
Oh,
us.
my gosh. Anyways. how's
But
it
this
going?
is our first time running this new setup.
yeah.
Where, like, for one, we want to bring videos to you guys more. So, like, filming the podcast, we're going to start to also, like, put out clips on social media, get new guests on, and also, like, film with guests. So, by the time this episode's out, I think the Great Scott episode is out first.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of a taste of an in-person conversation. Just because, like, in person, so much better.
It is. Yeah, we tried to do the whole like Zoom thing for a while, and it just like felt so disconnected. Like I hate Zoom for like you feel like you're always cutting someone off.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, you know, it's,
That, like, slight delay.
I know, like that's so annoying. Like, so yeah, just
Versus like when we're huddled up in the garage,
Yeah.
3 of us in a camping chair, and we're just like talking. I think there still is potential for like episodes that have no video in the future. Like I feel like audio only isn't completely off the table if we're like at the top of temp. Podcast, whip out a podcast episode, you know?
But it is more sick to be on top of temp with video.
For sure. We bring this whole setup up there. Got the black
But
magic.
it can get like super slim, you know, like it can. I think we could fit this all in like a
backpack
case.
or like that homie, that TikTok I sent you,
Yeah.
or that guy.
And like we're kind of, I mean, we got the black magic back there. Like kind of, this is a much bigger setup than.
Yeah.
You could go smaller than this.
So we're also in your new spot right now.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool that we got to do the Great Scott podcast at your old apartment.
Yeah.
Because it kind of like captures that environment. And that's kind of one of the like beautiful things about change is just like on to the next environment.
Yeah.
The past one is gone. Like how have you been feeling since moving?
It's good to be back down here. For those of you that don't know, like with the way that Utah is set up, there's like Utah County and then there's Salt Lake County. And I was living in Salt Lake County and all you guys are down here in Utah County. And so like every time that we want to meet up or there's a project down here, it's like a 40-minute drive. And so that just gets really old after a while.
For sure.
So that's like the main benefit of being back down here is like just like being closer. You know, it's like literally 14 minutes to your place.
Yeah.
So,
It's funny, like, we forget that, like, Utah to Truman is like Pennsylvania to me.
yeah.
And, like, ever since you left home and moved out to start your career in 2016, or at least the start of, like, Founders of 2016, you haven't moved back home since. Whereas, like, since 2018, we've been, like, in our home state, or me and Adam's home state. So, like, it's, like, still that life out on the road and, well, not necessarily on the road. The only road is I-15.
Yeah.
Doing
Dude,
our
this
thing.
is so rusty. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel so rusty being back on a podcast.
Definitely.
Well, how long has it been?
Definitely.
The last one,
I mean,
April?
Great Scott one was
It was a few months ago.
A few months ago. But and then even before that, it was like months again until we did another one.
I feel like it just like, I mean, adding the cameras, you can feel it.
Yeah, for sure. I think
you
that's
can feel it. You're gonna try and ignore it. I'm just like, hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah. No, I think that's definitely the component. That's
because also you just said that you're gonna take a break from social media
from Instagram.
Or
not
Instagram.
TikTok.
What inspired that?
I feel like, I mean, everyone talks about Instagram as like comparison, and I feel like that is a thing. You know, like you feel that you compare yourself to others. And I definitely
comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, and like I do that to a certain degree, but I feel like what messes me up about Instagram, especially like being an entrepreneur and a creative, is like seeing all the entrepreneurs posting like advice content, and I'm like, oh wait, am I completely doing something wrong in my business? Like, should I shift everything and go do that? You know?
Yeah.
And so I feel like the more that I'm on Instagram specifically, the less I'm in tune with like the voice inside me, like in terms of what I should be doing, you know, like, cause I feel like there's so much other chatter going on.
Yeah.
Which I don't feel that when I'm on TikTok because like, like even though like that's the type of content that I somewhat make, I don't follow a ton of people. Like my TikTok For You page is like funny stuff, you know, it's not like, and like that's kind of why like I gravitate towards TikTok because it's kind of like a relief from my day, you know. But like when I hop on Instagram, I feel like I'm just like stressed for some reason. I was just like, why am I like I would never get rid of TikTok at this point in my life because I'm like benefiting from it. But like for Instagram, like I haven't posted on Instagram in like months, and like I don't really do anything on my stories. I literally just consume, and so I was just faced with that question of like, I'm literally just a consumer on Instagram, so like why am I doing it? You know?
Yeah.
Like I'm not benefiting from that at all, but I'm benefiting from TikTok, so I'm not gonna.
I think that's like a good perspective to have on social media that I've been thinking about lately, of just like consumer versus creator. And it's like about knowing how to use social media as a tool versus how can it really hurt you. Like how can you be someone that's like an owner of a Chick-fil-A versus the person that goes to Chick-fil-A every day.
Yeah.
They both use Chick-fil-A, but in different ways. And one dude loves they both love Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
And like, because I was going to say for me, being an artist is really hard being a consumer on TikTok because, you know, I like to also consume art and consume music and stuff, but now my algorithm will be hyper focused on small artists. And at first I really liked it because it was like, yo, I'm being exposed to really low-key artists that are really dope. Mm-hmm. But then like over time, I'm just like, feels like I'm constantly comparing myself, being like, fuck, this is actually really good. And this homie has 10 likes. You know, it's like, do I got it? It's what that, for a brief moment, you get that thought of like, holy fuck, this kid is out here grinding. But then also sometimes I'll see a TikTok that's really good. It'll have like 100 likes or whatever. I like it and I get kind of bummed. But then I go to their page and they have like 100K followers, and that was just a new video.
Yeah.
So it's like different size pages depending on when they posted. But comparing yourself, like when it comes to me making my original music, is so hard because I don't want to sound like other people, or like I don't want to. But it's like trends on TikTok. And I do find a lot of music on TikTok. Yeah. And like, of course, like my music is inspired, but because like, I feel like part of being an artist, of putting out your own music, isn't necessarily, you know, making all that music from scratch, but it's putting your stamp of approval on a certain style. Like your ability to choose a good beat to rap on, you know, and like, I don't buy beats from other people, but most big artists do. That's just the reality of it. And it doesn't mean that that's not their song. They still paid for it. The producer gets their money for it. Like, it's just part of them saying, yo, this is what I want my sound to look like. Yeah. And like, same I feel like goes with using samples when you're making music, because there's a lot of artists that are like anti using samples because like companies like Splice make it so easy. Freaking millions of sounds that of anything that you want. But like, and I used to be like that, where at first I was like, I don't want to do any sampling. All my beats are programmed, all this stuff. But then once I started to like get over that, I'm like, let me try this drum loop. And I'm like, holy shit, it sounds so much better. But you have to like get over yourself to like do that. And also, it's like, yeah, it's not a big deal if you use a sample. Like, for one, I mean, it's one thing if you just like rip something off of YouTube and sample it in like a malicious manner.
Yeah.
There's another thing, paying for a service that gives you samples and using those samples ethically.
I feel like it's like, I don't know if this would be like a good analogy, but it's like I'm sure painters like a long time ago, they made like all of their own paints. Like they like mixed it up from like, I don't know, crushed plants or something like way back when. Mm-hmm. But then when like you were able to buy like paints, people were probably like, nah, I don't do that.
Oh, for sure.
Like I don't buy paints, I make them, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, but now it's like any painter would kind of be a fool to make all your own paints.
There,
you know?
I bet there still are out there that do just for like the art of it.
Yeah.
But also, something that I think about is like, I was learning about Leonardo da Vinci and his younger years, and you know, he would make these like amazing paintings. But what you don't know is a lot of times there's multiple people working on one painting. He would work on these giant, massive paintings with a team of people it would take him years. And it would be like, you take this little corner right here. And especially great artists, they would have their students and their apprentices work on paintings with them, and they would work on them together. And it wasn't like this was the solo show of Leonardo da Vinci. It was, this is the hard work of Leonardo da Vinci, because throughout his life, he made like I don't know the exact number, but under 100 pieces of art total. Like there's not that many, because each one took so much time for him to make, and his whole life devoted to doing that. Yeah. But I feel like people get so hung up on like, I want this art to be so original to just me, like it's only me, and then they ruin it for themselves when it's like, yo, Kanye, when he has one song, has 50 homies.
Yeah.
Because also that one song may have 20 different versions. Mm-hmm. And like, you don't know, it's like the more that you can bring a team to help your vision come to life, like the more you can consistently put out work. Like if you're a professional artist, you don't just put out one album and you're done. You put out one album, hopefully it gets the attention, you do another, and that's what you got to keep on doing. But like what we've learned like with our video companies, like we could keep on doing shoots, just Mike and Truman, and splitting the check and just keep on getting little checks here and there. But then we go through waves that start crashing on us really fucking hard. Where it's like 3 months of shooting, we're traveling in Colombia, 3 months of fucking sucking dick. Metaphorically dick sucking. But that's how it goes. Like we get these big projects, we do it, and then it's like hurts. Like it's like one of the worst things, like closing a client start to finish, and the whole process like 6 months.
I know. Yeah.
And then we start doing live streams, and it's like as soon as the event's over, we get paid. There's no editing, like, and same with like to the podcast. That's why we're bringing this live element.
Yeah, it's like it's crazy. Yeah, like our live stream projects now, we are making like as a company more than we've like our average project in the past. We're making more in 3 hours of work than we did in like 3 months.
Yep.
Just because of how stretched out it was. And it's wild.
It's like all up to us at the end of the day, because like we had to stop taking certain types of projects.
Yeah.
Because you can only blame yourself when you're the one that accepted the project. You're the one that had all the time before to clarify that they were ready for this, you know? So it's like we have to take responsibility for all the failures, but they got us right here.
Yeah. I feel like I need like an EQ on this mic.
I know, pop filter. I'm like kind of holding it back.
Yeah, all this music production that we've been doing, it's like you can kind of pick up on like I really hear the low end of my voice, you know? Like I need like a little
just to slice off you know, 150, 200 hertz on the
but what I was going to say is I feel like this may be like a slight hot take on like the entrepreneurial like beginning as an entrepreneur. Like what I did, I guess what we both did at the beginning of our career of like essentially diving in head first, like $500 in our bank account, all that stuff.
Less.
I wouldn't. I don't know. It's such a double-edged sword because like if someone asked me like, "Yo, do you think I should go all in, or do you think I should keep my day job and build it up slowly over time?" And I think that there's like pros and cons to both ways because I think that when you go all in, the benefit is that you're all in and like that's what you do nonstop. Like, and there's obviously a benefit to that. The downside is you'll do that thing where you accept projects that you probably shouldn't accept just because you need to make rent.
Yeah.
And that can throw you off because
For sure.
you're literally like just for months at a time doing projects that aren't aligned with your end goal of what you're building at all. They're literally just short-term things to get cash to whatever, pay your car payment, all that stuff.
Then you build a portfolio of videos that you don't want to be doing.
And so like I feel like that's what we did at the beginning of our video production side. It was like just like taking whatever, just to make ends meet. So the other side of that is like if we we both didn't have jobs like when we started anyway, but like let's say we did and we're like, hey, we want to start a video production company. If we just maybe bumped back our hours to the point where we still had our job, we're still good on rent, still all that other stuff, and then we can say no to all of those bad projects and only accept the ones we want and are excited about, and then build a portfolio of that, and then slowly transition into only doing video production,
Yeah.
That's the less like sexy approach. Like everyone wants this story of like, I walked up to my boss, I told him to go to hell, and I was out of there, and I became a millionaire next year. Like that's literally what everyone wants to have happen, but it just doesn't happen like that,
I do think that there is a level of power from putting your back against the wall. And like going all in on something is hard. It's like I see it's so hard. There's not one thing to say for one person.
Yeah,
there's different things for like depending on where you're at. Because like I say, there's no shame in getting a part-time job or like doing what you gotta do to pay your bills, and also like going the hard route that is better long term. It's for sure better off than like doing the short shoot. But also like when I think of us going all in for the last 6 years is what's gotten me to those places of such fucking frustration or that ignite my change where I'm like, I have to change and start doing this to become better. Or like otherwise, like the question is, how disciplined are you actually?
Yeah.
Because even me, bro, like everybody has to work on being more disciplined, but especially if you're self-employed, you don't have a boss, like you got to be honest with yourself. How much discipline do you actually have? Because otherwise you will put that off until it hurts, until you have to go and get a job because you're in the negative. And like nobody wants to ever be put in that spot. But sometimes being put in that spot is what makes you say, I never want to fucking feel that again.
Yeah, bro, that's so true. Like that is another one of those things that like people don't tell you about, like of becoming your own boss. Like maybe you're not a good boss to yourself. Just because like someone is still like your boss. Like when you don't have a traditional job, like you have to become your own boss, like for yourself, like you have to be like that, like adult to be like, yo, don't be playing video games right now. You got to edit that project.
Yeah. What should you be doing right now?
Yeah. And like, that's super hard. Cause it's like kind of like really like meta, like you have to be yourself doing the work, but also part of you has to be separated to be like, after this, you better be doing this, you have to be like a manager of yourself,
Yeah.
And that's super difficult.
You also have to constantly remind yourself because like something that we've noticed and experienced is like you get these waves of inspiration where you're like fucking on top of the world and you can do no wrong. And it's like those moments we're fired up, we're having good ideas, we're talking, we're making moves, but that's not the reality of what every single day is going to be like. And so it's like you have to constantly you'll have these moments where you do a brainstorm, you dump out everything in your head that you need to get done, you come up with a game plan, You do that 2 weeks later, you got to do it again. Otherwise, you're back to where you were.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, you got to do it again.
Yeah.
And you got to keep on being like, all right, where am I at right fucking now? What is everything that needs to get done? Like, write all that shit down. What can you chip away at? And then a week later, you do that again. And it's even harder with business because, like, we all have to be doing it. If we want to be the most, like, efficient team, all of us need to be on point. And we need to be checking on each other, making sure that we're all, you know, doing all the things we need to be doing. And that is really hard. But, like, even, like, I remember Ulysses telling us a while ago, he was like, we hired someone just to keep us accountable. Like, what did he call them? Like a discipline manager or something like that?
Maybe accountability coach.
Accountability coach. Or literally, it was someone that they hired just to, like, be that person. I think we should do that.
Yeah,
for sure.
I used to have a weird, like, take on that like, that's like you're kind of in a bad spot if you need someone to, like, keep you accountable. Like,
that's what you thought.
yeah, but I feel like no matter how good you are, like, everyone's a human at the end of the day, and we all suck at, like, staying on task. Like, no one is, like, even, like, Navy SEALs need, like, people in that squad to, like, keep them, you know, or, like, at least have like a plan to follow, you know.
And I think a big thing too, it's like, what's your accountability style? Like, no, we don't want to be, like, annoyed with our accountability person. Like, we don't want to, like, have this relationship where it's like they're just constantly, like, we hate talking to them. They're constantly diminishing us, which ties into this book that Ashley's been reading called Multipliers. It's about, like, being a multiplier or being a diminisher. And, like, when you're a diminisher, and it lists all these certain characteristics of a diminisher, and it has, like, this negative effect on everything. Versus when you have this multiplier effect and you're a multiplier in your business, it, you know, multiplies everything. That's, of course, like, the most simple explanation of it. But, like, it's just so true where, like, we want someone that they don't have to be like, Mike, what's wrong with you? Why didn't you post that TikTok today? But all we need is, like, yo, Mike, just a reminder. What are you working on today?
Yeah.
And this is another trick that one of our mentors, Austin Netzley, taught us. It's like, use accountability to your advantage to have someone's own word mean something, you know? Like, Austin isn't like he's having you say what you can do, and then if you can't do it, then he just says, well, why weren't you able to do this? You said, you know? So it's like using your own word. And
that's what I did when I ran that 40 miles is, like, I mean, we were doing that accountability group amongst ourselves for a while, and, like, I was kind of on the fence with even, like, verbalizing it because I didn't want to put it out there. Like, because I knew that once I would say it, like, I would do it, like, because I just hate that social, like, it sucks, like, saying something to your tribe, like, I'm gonna do this, and then, like, the time comes and you didn't do it, and because it just feels like you're, like, you let everyone down, even though like, it didn't benefit you guys for me to run it, but it's like that same thing of, like, hey guys, I'm gonna go up there and like, kill an elk and bring it down for our feast, and then I don't do it. You guys are like, dude, what the, like, I planned, I didn't eat for the last 3 days because I thought you were doing this, you know? Like, it's like that primal thing of, like, not wanting to let down your tribe, you know?
Even like building trust.
Yeah, like, that trust is huge. Like if I don't do it, you're gonna think, like, oh, like, he's a little, like, flaky, you know? And, like, enough of those things stacking up against you, you're like, that dude's not, like, he, like, for me personally, being labeled, like, being known as the guy that says a lot of stuff but doesn't do it, that's the freaking worst thing that I'd never want to be labeled as. Like, so that's what drives me. Like, when I say that I'm gonna run this 40 miles, like, I'm doing it, or at least, like, attempting it as hard as I can, like, or else I feel so bad, you know?
Dude, I even feel like this is just so important for the little things in life. Because even if it's not a big thing like going hunting and killing an elk and you don't do it, where it's like, okay, it makes sense that you didn't do it. I'm not necessarily, like, holding that over your head of, like, oh, Truman's the type of guy to say he's going to do something, doesn't do it.
Yeah.
But it's like even the little things where it's like
The little things I feel like are more important.
they're very, very subtle, where it's like if you say that you're going to
Take the trash out or
take
something.
the trash out,
Yeah.
you know, like those are the ones that really matter, because if you can't do it with the little ones,
Yeah.
are you going to do it with the big ones?
Yeah.
But that's also where the power comes
Yeah.
to you.
And honestly, like at the end of the day, it's the little things where it stacks up. Like whether or not you can trust someone, like when they tell you things that you can't verify, or like you just have to hope that they're gonna, like if you're in a stressful situation, you need someone to be, you need someone that you can rely on. And like if you don't have that with yourself, like if you are always telling yourself, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna work out, and then tomorrow comes and you don't work out, if that happens, thousands of times in your life or whatever it is, that builds up an internal like self-doubt
Right.
of, oh, even if in a moment I think I can do something, I probably won't be able to do it. And then you commit to less things, then you push yourself less. But like when you say you're going to do something and then you actively, like, even when it's hard, even when you want to quit, you don't, that builds up your self-confidence in the long run. And same thing with like other people, then you're valuable and like trustworthy, which is, like
Yeah.
the best thing you can do.
I heard Jordan Peterson talking about that, like how, like what you just said, it's like you have to be able to trust yourself, like know that you're going to keep the word like with yourself on what you're going to do. And like that is so, like, I know it's so weird, like you don't really think that you can lose trust with yourself, because like it seems really obvious with other people. Like that guy said he was going to do this for a while, doesn't do it. I don't trust that guy anymore. I'm not going to even talk to him. I'm not going to give him any responsibilities because I know he's not going to do it.
Yeah.
But like that can also happen with yourself of like, like going to the gym or something. Like I feel like I've experienced that the past like month or two of just like I don't know, like not wanting to read a book because I'm like, you're just going to read it and like nothing's really going to change from reading this. Like you're going to read it and like, it's really bad thinking.
You
like
need
it's
some
like,
belief.
It's like you shouldn't be so like pessimistic about like, like you don't know, like you could read that book and it could change your life,
Yeah. Well, that's also that inner roommate that's just talking shit.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've had to, that's one of those lessons that I've been like forgetting and then having to remind myself lately, because I'm like, when I get called out on being kind of ornery or whatever, and then I remember I'm being ornery because I'm letting that inner roommate just take over. But it's like, because same with like road rage, it's like your immediate impulse when someone cuts you off, and then you just let that impulse come through and you're like freaking out. Mm-hmm. But it's like when you pause and you think before you say it, and then you realize, oh, what the fuck? Why was I so mad about that? Like, really, why am I so, like, at the core? And, like, because it's so easy to forget that you let someone else take over the wheel. And I feel like that's the definition of, like, being unconscious.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get into some weird territory, like, where you feel justified to, like, make those reactions. Like, and because I feel like it's like you distort reality to a point where like you believe that like that person is out to get you. Like they cut me off because like they hate the way that I'm wearing my t-shirt right now or whatever. Like you take it so like personally of like like they did that to me, so you feel like you feel obligated to like do something back to them. But it's like the actual reality, if you can open yourself up to that, is like that they probably didn't even realize they're stressed out. Like they didn't know that you were behind, like whatever. Like it's nothing to do with you. Like in like an alternative reality, that was someone else in a white Corolla, like it wasn't you, like it's,
or it was the person you cut off.
Yeah. It could have been anyone. It's like, so I don't know. It's just like weird that you can like, everyone does it. Everyone can flip things around. Like,
I've been thinking a lot about this recently, about like living consciously versus unconsciously, like you're saying. And it's really tough because like your survival, your like animal brain is unconscious. You know, think like a dog. You toss a treat out, they just go get it. They hear something, they just bark. Like instant reactions to stimulus is like unconscious living. That's an animal mind. But like conscious thinking and like decision making is what really sets human beings apart, and like why we've been able to accomplish so much as opposed to other species. Because like if you're just always running around looking for food, you're not going to think about how to build a skyscraper. But if you're really consciously thinking about what effort you can put into the world, like the long-term benefits of that and like whatever will come out of it, you're way more likely to push yourself and do better things. But if you live unconsciously, it's so weird. The animal thing is like ego. It's prioritizing yourself over other people. And that road rage thing, it's so instant because it's like a threat to our life where you're on the road and like that person cut you off, you could crash and you could die. Like that's the way that your mind thinks. And so it takes you out of the ability to think consciously and have that pause and that reflection of like, oh, like how do I want to act here? But that's one of those things that you can learn and you can train over time. Like
practice it.
If you just are always living unconsciously and always prioritizing yourself, you're gonna have a negative interaction with the world because that's not how the world works. It's not built around any one person. And that's gonna reinforce your negative viewpoint of the world. But if you're able to live consciously and analyze why things happen and why people act certain ways, it's crazy how little it can affect you in the long run because
you can kind of take control a little bit.
Exactly. And someone that's thinking unconsciously and acting unconsciously, prioritizing themselves, if you as a conscious individual, you can analyze that and go, oh, I don't even have to think about what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like also like with consciousness or living consciously is like learning to live with intention or to create intentions with things. Like instead of letting something happen to you and then you just like react to how it happens to you, you can say like, you know, what is my intention with this podcast episode? Well, it's to blow the fuck up. So we set up multiple cameras. We bring on another homie to come help with it. And we set it up like a podcast that has the intention to get bigger. Or even like I've learned like with making music, so many different ways that you can make music. You can hop in and you can just like spit whatever you're thinking about immediately, or you can sit on lyrics and craft it word by word for years. And how you make that song, it's like all about the how you do it is all up to you. How you make this podcast is all up to us. How we do anything is like part of our intention of living consciously. And it also is like with like having goals and like wanting to do bigger things, you know, like our intention is to you know, be self-made and to create our own business. And that was our intention in 2018 when we started our company. And then as you set that intention and you just like go on that journey, you start to learn more. You know, like when we set up our first podcast episode, it was connecting creators. We thought we could film it and record it with lavalier microphones because we didn't want to hold microphones. And it was a total failure. It was a ton of work. But we learned a bunch. We shot like 7 or 8 episodes like a TV show. And then we pivoted and we're like, okay, this isn't working. We just want more conversations. That's literally all we want. Boom. Conversations with humans like was exactly what we wanted. And it was like that one more step on the path of intention. Our intention with this podcast is in the name of it. To just have open conversations. It's like a safe space for anyone to chime in. But dude, we might be getting a little bit too woke here. Truman, say something.
I was just going to say, like, progressing is so much about failures. Like, we talked about this before, a bunch of times on past episodes, but, like...
Because we be failing a lot.
Yeah, but, like, that's how it is. Like, I was listening to Christian Guzman on... Bradley Martin's podcast.
You mean Christian Gussman?
Gussman. And, Bradley asked him, like, you know, how often do you fail or whatever? He was like, dude, every day, like hundreds of times a day. Like, I I mess things up all the time. Like, and like he was telling like different stories of like how like they had like a Black Friday sale with Alpha Elite, and like they like just did all this stuff, and like he had like an accounting error, and they like lost $2 million. Like they had like $2 million worth of clothes that like didn't get shipped out or something. Like it was like this huge thing, and like it's like, but that's like a bigger one. But he has like things all the time, and like it's so it's not about like avoiding failure. Like I think that that's something that I got messed up on. Like I'm still trying to get better at. It's like that like quote of like playing to win is not the same as playing not to lose. Like if you're playing a game and you're playing not to lose the game, like if you're playing a football game and your team's playing not to lose, like you're like super defensive, like whoa, like whoa, you know, like that's a completely, it's like a scared like protective energy. But if you're trying to win, you're like, yo, take this ball and run hard into that group of guys, like, or like just go, like every like play that you're taking is like going for the win, you know, like it's like putting it all out there. That's a completely different energy than like this like scared, frantic, like trying not to lose, you know. And like how that applies to like business is like, you know, like trying to save a few $100 or like trying to like, you know, condense subscriptions down to whatever. It's like, and like you want to do that, you don't want to be spending money for no reason, but like we should be spending our attention on like how do we get more revenue and not cutting more costs, you know, because like you can only cut costs down to a certain point, but your potential revenue is like through the
limitless
ceiling. Yeah, like, and I think that that's like what like the guys at Sandlot, like you can tell that they're way more focused on like income producing stuff, and they're more in, like they're not concerned with like cutting corners or cutting costs. Like they want to do it right, and they're focused on winning, they're focused on the excellence, like all that stuff, like and like so like, and I feel like you can only focus on like one of those things. Like you can either be like playing like small and like doing it that way, or you can be like just completely like, let's go, like we'll pick up all the stuff as we go, like all the mistakes, but like you can't just like, you can't like blow up from like a really like sheltered back like perspective. You know, like that's good for like maintaining, like if you want to like, you know, get to a big company status and then you want to like just chill there, maybe like then you maybe want to pull back. But like to really like to go from 0 to like up here, there's no way that you can like safely get there, you know. Like you have to like put it all on the line and like kind of
spend some money for sure.
Spend some money, but also like your efforts have to be huge. You have to take big action. You can't be playing it safe in any regard. Like,
bro, even this setup that we're running right now is like $2,500, $1,500, $2,000. We got about $10,000 worth of gear right here. We haven't made a penny off of this podcast. And same with like my music too, is like the same way where I'm like investing thousands and thousands of dollars to get the right equipment. But it's like you have to do that first to get the results from all that gear. And I saw this video about Marquez Brownlee's new studio and how the monthly rent is $30,000 a month. And it's like, that sounds like a lot, but then it's like, how much is he making every month? Because if he's making $3 million, shit, $30,000 is chump change. Literal chump change.
Like you can go through your whole life being that guy that's so concerned about the $30K a month expense, or you can be looking at the upside of the millions that he's making, you know, leveraging it.
So something else I was thinking about too, from what we were talking about, is I was watching Survivor, which has been like my freaking favorite show lately. I'm not gonna lie, because I used to think it was just like a reality TV show about surviving on an island, which is a small part of it, but a much bigger part of it is like the mental game and the social game involved with like surviving for 39 days with very little food, and you have to make your own shelter and everything, competing with all these people and then getting round by round and surviving through all the chaos, and is constant chaos throughout the whole show. And this lady in the episode that I watched last night said, I can't remember exactly how the quote goes, but it was like, a winner is made by how you get back up. Which is like kind of exactly what we're talking about, is why I wanted to bring it up. But like, that show is full of these like kind of metaphorical lessons you can learn from smaller social groups that apply to bigger social groups, that have to do with like leadership styles, that have to do with communication. And then you see them part off and say like in the conversation, they looked totally chill, you know, like the person just kind of took what another person said. Then they walk away, and then one of the people that was in the combo is like, he just thinks he can command me around and tell me whatever to do, and I'm just keeping my quiet, but when it comes time to go to tribal council, I'm writing his name down. Meanwhile, homie has no idea that that person responded to his leadership style as like too aggressive. And that's really common in the show, for like, the leaders always get sent home first, you know, like you're putting a target on your back when you're like putting yourself out there as a leader. The people that win in the show are the ones that like kind of keep it low key, like coast kind of in the middle or the back throughout the show.
Yeah, they just stay nice.
Because it's like constantly the leadership dynamic is shifting, because new alliances are getting bigger, taking over. Then different people are put at the bottom of the pack that are now like at risk of being sent home. And it's just so interesting, like watching different groups of people go through this. It's like a simulation. Like, it's like a simulated mini world that has politics, where you have to go pitch yourself and say, don't send me home, because if you send this person home instead is a better move, because blah, 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 blah. And it's just super interesting.
You know what might be a really fun way to watch that show? Is watch a season that's like been out for a while. And from the very first episode, find out who wins that season.
Oh, and know who the winner is.
And follow the winner and their traits and like the way they behave throughout the show, because it'd be pretty interesting. You know, because all throughout the show, you're always rooting for one person or someone else, or like certain alliances, and then, you know, it gets cut or whatever, and you pick a new mental front runner. Yeah. But it'd be interesting to watch the winner's progression through the seasons.
There's some people where it's like, once it gets to like top 5, you can kind of guess who you think is going to be the winner. Because also how it works is the top 3 go up against the
council
jury.
Right? Yeah, right.
And the jury is like the last like 10 people that got voted out. And then they vote who the winner is based on the top 3. So who you get in top 3 with is like really important. But even like on past seasons, like people win all the time that I'm like, I was not expecting that. Or someone will go home where you're like, I thought they were going to win for sure. Like there was this one homie named Jonathan who's like 7 feet tall. He's literally Hercules. Wow. And he was the king of challenges. His team is always winning the challenges, and he's always winning the challenges and carrying the team on his back, literally. There was one challenge where he had the whole team on his back, and he's dragging them through the water. And, like, this dude is literally, like, incredible, but he doesn't win. He gets sent home. Someone who sucks at challenges won. So, like, just being good at challenges is only a small part of it. The social game is way bigger. But we can kind of change the subject from Survivor. So, I'm trying to think of, say what you're going to say.
I was going to say, I feel like it's, we should, like, talk about our intentions with this podcast. Like
okay.
What we see it growing into.
For sure.
What from your perspective, what's your, what are your, like, where do you see this going?
Dude, it's crazy because, like, life is crazy and we're getting on a really good path.
Yeah.
And, like, I just feel like we've, over the last couple of years of struggle and navigating, of finding what we want to do and where we want to go, where we are right now and the direction that we're all heading towards with everything that we're doing feels like I found my life's purpose. This is exactly what we need to be doing right now in life at this period of life, is creating content.
Yeah, for sure.
To summarize it. Because, like, with our company, we're also building our company, but we can't be the team members that are doing shoots, is what we've learned the hard way. And what we need to be doing is building a team that can help us with shoots, that we train, we trust, we get a local office or warehouse for us to work at, and then we just create content all the time and get our name out there. You know, the more that people know what we're about, then the better chances we have of finding the right people to work with. So, because when we first started working together, we were working as a team, a video team with an entrepreneur, producing an interview show. And I feel like both of us found a lot of fulfillment in the networking aspect of like meeting so many incredible people. And I think that for me, one of my big intentions with the next wave of the podcast is like, this is an outlet for us to bring on amazing conversations with people like Great Scott or Donato, but make them the best possible quality conversation. Like we did a Zoom episode with Scott, but that wasn't good enough. And we do one in then we do one in Salt Lake City. Then I want to do another episode with Scott in New York in his hometown, or episode with Donato in Miami at his crib instead of over Zoom. And then even local people, like we're getting pretty involved with the local professional scene around here just over the last year. And so getting involved with that, Silicon Slopes, I honestly just feel like we have an opportunity to really establish ourselves as some creative, open-minded, and hardworking individuals locally. And I want to attract other people that are like that and talk to them. Like I want to talk to Jimmy Rex. I think Jimmy Rex is super cool. And I want to talk to Ryan Smith, co-owner of the Utah Jazz. I think Ryan Smith is really cool. I also would love to talk to Todd Peterson, and I would love to talk to Mark Cuban. Like we don't even have to stay in Utah. Yeah. All of us, for all you guys out there, we don't got jobs. Like this is our job, our company. Like we will do, some delivery driving to make up for the COVID and the lack of funds in certain times. But like since we moved out to New York in 2016, that was a job working with the team and entrepreneur. Then once we started our business, Temple Mill became our job. And since 2018, that has been our job. And I think that's a major win for us in terms of like feeling worthy enough to be in the position where we are right now. Because like 18-year-old Mike couldn't do a podcast.
Yeah, no way.
I was watching this like old video of when we interviewed ourselves for a TV show that we were going to potentially be on. I was cringing the whole time. I couldn't even watch the whole thing.
I don't even want to see mine.
You were way better, of course. Like, you're closer. My dumbass, though, watching it. And so I just think of, like, how far we've come and already, like, what we've been able to do.
Yeah.
We've been investing the money. Now all we got to do, come into the room. Sit down right here, my guy. And once we start building our audience, like, really, I think we have something really powerful and impactful that we can bring to the world. Because there's a lot of people that are extremely judgmental, a lot of people that are super close-minded, a lot of people that aren't willing to learn new things, a lot of people that live life negatively every day. And those same people are also constantly putting advice out on the internet. Yeah. Contrary to everything that we have to say, there's someone saying the exact opposite is what you should do. And not necessarily saying that we're right or they're right, because it depends on the advice, but also there's so many younger kids in our circle that is part of my why to be a leader for them. You don't got to necessarily listen to me, but if you want to hear what I got to say, I'm going to be honest about it. And I'm going to say, what I think and at least try and be honest to you. And then you can take it how you wish. But I'm going to tell you something different from go to church.
Amen.
Amen. Well, look, you can go to church if you want to. But I'm just saying, if you're talking to me about what you're going through, I can guarantee the solution is not going to be to go to church. Speaking of which, we were talking about this earlier, the photo of Joe Smith
Yeah.
Jay Smith, Jay-Z's apprentice, Joseph Smithy, Joseph Z. Did you see the photo?
No.
Can you maybe pull it
See
up
if I
for
can
him?
find it, yeah.
He looks like he's probably like in his 40s in the photo. You think? Maybe 30s.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think he got to his 40s.
And it was a mugshot?
I mean, I don't really know. That's just what it kind of looks like.
Well, okay, we're also treading lightly on the religious subject here. I'm not trying to roast Mormons or church or anything like that, because I know that there's some of you guys out there,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers. But also, there's this. Did you guys hear about all of
Here's the
Taylor
photo.
Swift emissions?
We can even do a little put it over
Yeah,
the
we
screen.
can just put it on the screen.
But yeah, it's definitely maybe not a mugshot. It's a nice photo, but
It's like
just,
in a necklace or something.
yeah. He just doesn't look like what they say he looks like, which is this blonde, blue eyes, tall, square face,
Yeah.
the classic handsome guy. But then you look at the real photos and you're like, whoa, you
gotta have a good looking authority figure. Rule number 1. Gotta have a good looking authority picture. Okay, but I saw this news that said that it's tracking celebrities' private jets,
Oh, yeah.
their flight
Yeah.
patterns.
Oh yeah.
And is seeing how much emissions they use as one person. And I think Taylor Swift's was like 500 times. I can't remember. Like 500 times the amount of emissions that she's produced. But
Than like the average person.
than like the average person.
Yeah, there was a one trip of Kylie Jenner took a private jet from like the north end of Los Angeles to the south end of Los
Oh,
Angeles.
yeah.
It was a 6-minute
I think it
flight.
was like Van Nuys to
Yeah.
LAX or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
6-minute flight. But would have been
just
like
so
40
crazy.
minutes in the car.
Something about that though that I read is that some of the time their jet is going from like here to here, and then they get off and their jet is flying back. But I guess that's still the emissions.
Yeah.
Like,
Created from the jet fumes.
Or
you know,
like,
but it's not like, because the way that it looks is like that Taylor Swift is going from here to here and then back and then like whatever. And people are like, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just like get an Uber or whatever? But like,
yeah.
it's some of the time it's their flight. Like they dropped her off and it's going back.
Yeah,
you
the
know,
Van Nuys.
Without her in
Yeah,
it.
without her.
The Van Nuys
But-
LAX one might even be like she needs to leave at LAX, and the airport or the airplane's in Van Nuys, so bring it here and we'll leave from here to Tokyo or wherever.
Yeah.
So also another one of my intentions is to loop back things around and try and not get so sidetracked all the time. And so I want to bring back and ask you, what are some of your intentions of the podcast?
I mean, I love long form conversations. Like, I feel like it's like therapeutic to just like
For
talk,
sure.
because I feel like there's not a lot of like I explained this to like my mom. Like, she was like, "Why are you playing like video games again, like Halo and stuff?" And I'm like, "You don't understand that like I'm never gonna call Michael up and talk to him on the phone for an hour. Like,
just,
I'm never gonna do
Never.
it. Like, not even like
it's
I
just
mean,
not, that's not what we do.
I know, yeah. So like, I'm like, I'm never gonna talk to him if that's the only way that we're gonna talk, you know. But it's like when we play video games and we have the headset on, we're doing that. It's just that we're doing it. We're doing this other thing while we do it, you know. And like that's what I feel like podcasting is a little bit for us. It's like very little would we all just kind of like sit down. Especially when we get
with guests and
when we get
stuff.
multiple guests in, like we wouldn't just be like, "Hey, Jimmy Rex, come hang out with us." Like
Yeah.
he's not gonna do it. But like we live in this weird time where like you benefit from sitting down and talking because you're filming it and people get content and all that stuff. You know, like people
We can
people
capture the
love to go to
conversation.
Joe Rogan to talk to him, but also they get the clips of them being on Joe Rogan, like, and those spread around all the time, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's like, I mean, I just love sitting down and talking with people, but I feel like I can't really justify it as much, like just like in my day to day, like getting like it bundled up in like more stuff is kind of cool, you know, like feel like you're working and you're talking and all that stuff.
You like feel productive.
Yeah. And the other aspect would just be like meeting more people, like because like something that I want to do with this podcast is not just get on like heavy hitters or like big name people.
Yeah.
Like I think that it'd be so sick to like, which is what I love Joe for doing, is like he has a big platform and he'll bring on someone that's like literally like a hometown hero. Like someone that has no platform at all. Like,
for sure.
And they're just like someone like your dad. It's like he's not online at all. Like,
okay.
like, it's like,
he'd like bring on like any fuck,
yeah,
like
bring
you.
bring like a nobody. Like
like what's your dad's name again?
No, but like someone that's like dope in their hometown. You
Yeah.
know? And he brings them on, and like then it's like everyone knows that person. Like I would love to be able to just like put on random people. You know, like
have a platform.
Yeah, having a platform to be able to do that, where it's like the second you come on this podcast, like your life will be different. Like I think that's a cool responsibility. Like, and
it's like we're gonna go live to 2,000 people that are immediately watching it.
Yeah.
Immediately 2,000 views right off the bat.
Right.
And then within the first 24 hours, clock 100,000 views at least.
Yeah.
Even like the Full Send channel, holy flip. They get so many views so quick, bro. Like they're going for big guests, but it's just crazy. I didn't even watch the Andrew Tate one. Like I started watching it and I was like, this dude is so fucking annoying. I cannot listen to this anymore.
We're gonna do a deep dive on him for sure. There's so many layers to that onion. It's wild.
I have like,
well, dude, I
I don't know much about what he actually teaches, but just like listening to it, I'm like, I'm literally getting annoyed by this because it was just him talking.
That's like the point.
It wasn't as much. I love hearing the other Nelk boys chime in.
Mm-hmm.
What really bugged me is like his like I'll go on record in saying that like some of what he talks about is like I can get benefit from.
That's how all good scams go.
It's like yeah, I mean
some component of truth to get you.
But that's
hooked.
the thing. It's like because there's some TikToks where it's like he's talking about discipline or something. I'm like, yeah, I can get behind that. But then when he gets off on this other stuff, it's like that's where I'm not on it. But like
that's exactly how it goes.
when he talks about how he made his money, that's where I'm like I'm out. Like I personally don't respect it. Like because
with the whole strategy that that he's talking about.
No, it's like he made money from like a cam girl site. Like he essentially.
I heard something about this, but I don't.
He talks about it on the podcast. So like
there's so much. Honestly, I think we could do like an hour deep dive going because he has like an MLM.
Yeah, that's what I heard a little bit about. Where all this
is coming from, but then he has all this deep history.
Like why he's in Croatia,
dude. It's like so. I'll just go over real quick of how he made his money. Like he essentially had all these like women around him that he claims that like were like, you know, close with him, you know, that he took care of and whatever. And then he was like I'll set up a cam site on behalf of you guys. Like you guys will talk to the dudes, but I'll just kind of like run it. You know, all you guys have to do is show up, sit in front of the camera, like look good, talk to these guys. And then, like, you'll get your cut, I get my cut, everything's good. But, so they were in front of the camera, but they just sucked at typing to these guys. Like, the guys on the other end, they weren't, like, flirty enough. They were whatever. Like, they're just like, hey, how's your day going? Whatever. But he was like, let me connect my keyboard, and I'll do the talking.
Oh, really?
Dude, yeah, and so like he had a team of like girls, but then every computer had a fake keyboard plugged in, like that the girls would be using, but the real one would be like behind the camera, and they're like they're trying to get money from these guys. Like it turned from like just like a entertainment cam girl thing to like how do we get the money from these guys?
Like, how do we milk them?
Yeah, like, what's the strategy of, like, let's
Milk their nipples.
let's not rely on them donating money. Like, let's try pooling money out of these guys. Like, hey, and like it escalated to the point where like they would like have like guys would be really wealthy dudes would be tuning in and be like, hey, like, let me fly you out here with me or whatever, and then like they'd like get to a point where like the flights are booked and like they sent like hundreds of thousands of dollars to that girl's account, and then they would just like ghost and like be out of there. And so my thing is, I feel like he has that shady past because there's so many wealthy individuals that like are want to like end this dude's life because they're like, dude, you like took millions of dollars from me. Like, I thought this was a real girl.
So he's like in hiding.
I think so. But so that's where it's like, it's unethical from my perspective. He doesn't see it that way. He sees it of like, he says on the podcast of like, what I'm doing is just like, if you had a liquor store and you're selling liquor to an alcoholic, like, would you feel bad if you were doing that? But what I disagree with that is that like a liquor store isn't like actively like
messaging
hey,
you.
like, hey, drink this. Hey, drink this. Like, yeah, like whatever. Like, what they were doing was like actively like pulling money out. Like, it wasn't like, here, donate if you want, but whatever. Like, it was like, yo, wire the money or I'm ghosting you. Like, or like, you know, like, it was really like putting it all out there.
Well, honestly, I feel like that would be fine. Like, there can be pushy OnlyFans girls or whatever, but like, he was taking the money, all of the money. So like, there's tons of pushy cam girls, but he was just taking all the money for himself, and that's like, I feel like the problem, because like sex work can be good for the girls. I don't really understand everything, but like, it can be good. But I think the main problem with him is that he was running it like a brothel where he would start to date a girl and then like convince them to do this as they're like his girlfriend, and then would just move on to the next girl, start dating them.
So do you think that Andrew Tate's wiener is on the internet somewhere? Photo of his wiener?
Honestly, I don't think so.
On this segment of the podcast, we're going to take guesses on how big Andrew Tate's schlong is.
Oh, you know homie's packing a little tiny guy.
You got that Vienna sausage, you know what I'm saying?
Otherwise, you wouldn't be flexing, you know, Bugattis and water.
I feel like the thing is, like, you know, of course, to blow up as big as he did, he's, of course, got to have some level of smarts of knowing what he's doing. That, like, you can show props to.
He's not an idiot.
But it's like, do I like him? No. Well, I feel the same way in a year. You know, a lot of my favorite artists, I didn't like them at first. I didn't like Travis Scott at first. I didn't like Lil Peep at first. But now, I love Lil Peep. I love Travis Scott. Not that Andrew Tate is anything like them.
Andrew Tate's the Ty Lopez.
His hair could never.
Of 2022, he's just the Ty Lopez. He'll be here for like a year and a half, and then he'll be gone.
Well, Ty Lopez bought a couple companies, Radio Shack,
I know, but do you see him in your pre-rolls anymore?
Well, I think that's intentional. Like, from Ty Lopez's perspective, I think
he's decided to coast back.
Yeah, I mean, he got in, got his money, got out.
It's very intentional how much we're seeing Andrew Tate right now.
Yeah, no.
That's part of his
flooding it.
That's part of his MLM is to have people post his clips
of him saying controversial.
He also
anything.
He also denied that in the podcast.
Well, it's literally in his Hustlers University.
Oh yeah. He did confirm that, but I think what he denied is that he's denied that he told other pages to post his content to blow it up.
Yeah, well, we can just dive in a little bit. So there's like an affiliate link. As you sign up for Hustlers University, it's $50 a month. And then you get an affiliate link, and the people that sign up under you, you get 50% of their you get $25 off their first month. And so what you want to do is just, even if he's not telling you, is make an Andrew Tate TikTok page, cut up clips, post it on your page of him saying whatever, probably, of course, the most outrageous things, because that's going to get the most views. Then you have your affiliate link in your bio. Everyone that goes to your page and signs up, you get $25 for. He gets $25, and then he gets $50 every month from there on out. And so he's not expressly telling people to do this, but that's the way that this works is through the affiliate link.
Yeah.
And so everyone's just motivated to put him out, but not put his Hustlers University information out. And so all there is just this outrageous stuff that he says.
So do you have an affiliate link?
That was a big party foul right there, my guy. No, I mean,
okay.
Honestly,
I was gonna expose you on the podcast.
This is.
I'm like, you know a lot about this.
I've
been making $3,000 a month.
Dives,
I mean, yeah, he's been
breakdowns.
freaking everywhere, and if I weren't like intentionally like annoyed just by how his face looks, then I would maybe get sucked into it a little bit more. He just seems like I don't even know. I don't want to say anything about him anymore.
Do you think you could kick his ass?
For sure. Like
think
without,
so,
yes.
You think you can kick his ass?
Yes.
Do you see how big he is?
I love you, Mike.
Has he seen how big I am?
What's your take on it?
I think he would individually.
As long as he doesn't put my ass on that campsite,
one-on-one.
I'll put his ass on my campsite.
one-on-one, he would take any one of us.
I would stream it, and then I would say,
He was
"Come and get it, Daddy."
He was a world champion kickboxer for 4 times in a row. Like,
yeah, I saw videos. He sucks.
He has got his ass beat many times, but I mean, he's jacked.
Yeah, maybe jacked off every day.
Definitely. He won't let any other girl see his dick because it's so small.
Oh well, if he flies me out to Croatia, I'll take
Yo,
him.
honestly, I think he might be.
Put
gay.
his ass on a
I think he
campsite.
might be gay. I think that's the problem. Is
I'll
that
pound that tight little ass.
He's like a homophobic gay because he hates women. It's so obvious that he hates women. And he is the one messaging these guys. He's like, you suck at flirting with these guys. Here, I'll flirt with them, and I'll do it better. Like,
He knows.
I honestly think there's. I mean, granted, anyway, sexuality is like a spectrum. Maybe he's just a little bit gay. He's attracted to men.
That's all right.
That's why he never has like a wife or like a main girlfriend. That's why he always says all this anti-women stuff, is because he's like, women are the worst thing in the world and they don't provide me anything, even pussy, because I don't like pussy. Like, maybe he's just super gay but cannot say it because of the way
Has
he's
he
raised.
said it?
No. He's
trying to hold the alpha male.
He's very alpha
image.
male, yeah. But it might answer a lot of things, you know, taking advantage of the young man, trying to get all these supporters in his group, telling him how amazing he is all the time.
The thing is, I know that with Andrew Tate that I at least have the mental game, and I've been practicing my remote viewing, and so I feel like I could make his head explode. So I don't even gotta touch him. Like, that's why, like, you look at me, you're like, you couldn't take him. You're not a kickboxer. Shit, I don't
Mike
gotta
just
touch
goes
his
full
ass.
Matilda mode, just.
I get the bloody nose. I go all 11 on him. I'm number 12.
Something that I did take from that, from
You
watching.
tated it?
Tated from it. Is that he said that, like, why his content strategy that he's been using is, like, works so well because he can sit in front of a camera and just talk, and clips can be cut all the time from it.
Yeah.
And so the lesson from that is, like, to reduce the, like, amount of time that your content needs to take. Like, that's kind of like the downside of me doing all those book TikToks. It's like I have to literally read a whole book before I can do a TikTok on it. Mm-hmm. Like, so it's like the time takes so long, you know, to go through that whole process.
To make one.
And it's super draining. But if you can, like, which is like why this podcast is going to be cool, is like we can just like casually talk, and then like Jasmine can rip clips from it, and like it's just really easy, you know?
Yeah. I feel like Andrew Tate, the type of guy to start a streaming service for only gay dudes. And it's like semen, but it's called streamin'.
Jesus.
I think he would. But other than that, what else has been on your mind lately, Truman?
Oh man!
Wait, I feel like we need to do like a tweet. Explain this tweet.
All right.
Because
we are also about an hour plus here, and I have to dip here in just a little bit.
Yeah, we can.
So.
We'll wrap it up after this segment.
All right. All right. This tweet says Andrew Tate's butt looks really good, and just kidding.
Andrew Tate, more like Andrew Taint.
Andrew Tate. I want Andrew Tate to come on our podcast, but fly all of us out to Croatia.
Andrew, take
And
me
then
to
he can
Croatia
convince
and
me.
sell my body.
You can tell me in person. Okay, so I like this one. But I won't do that. Let's see. Shit, I can resonate with this. Getting what you want is a dance that takes a few extra lessons. So tell me about where your headspace was at when you wrote this fine work of poetry.
I feel like that was after a night of partying.
It was like
I kind of
2 weeks ago or something,
I kind of forget what I meant by that. But like...
Well, I could take a guess at what you meant, but I want to hear what you have to say first.
I'm drawing a blank. Let me hear your perspective on it right now.
This is
it
what's
might
so
jog my
crazy.
memory on it.
This is what's so crazy to me. So crazy to me, bro. Is that learning things isn't necessarily about new information. Sometimes it's about repetition and practice. And like learning how to play the violin, like my whole life growing up, taking constant violin lessons. It's such a gradual increase of information as I slowly get better and better to be able to handle the new stuff, where like it's not like I'm like trying to memorize all these things every violin lesson. It's like on a lesson to lesson basis, I'm not learning anything new necessarily. Maybe every like 3 or 4 lessons I learn what a new symbol on the sheet music means from a new song I'm learning, and then I know that from that point on or whatever. But like really what's going to get you better, and it's like it's all about different types of things that we're talking about, like learning music versus learning computer programming. But still, I think some of the things still apply, where it's like, sure, you could study and read books about music, and there is a component of that you need a little bit of. But the majority of what's going to turn you into Jimi fucking Hendrix is practice. Like, he's not reading books every day. He's playing the guitar every single day. And, like, same with, like, the tweet example is dancing and getting your one dance lesson away. And I think, like, having a mentor, it's weird. Mentors, it's like you think that they have to be this person that's way better than you. But if you kind of like, let's just assume that we're all equal people here, and you can have someone teach you something, it doesn't mean that they're better than you. They just know something that you don't know. And so like with this like mindset of finding a mentor, a lot of time it's like, how do I get to Mark Cuban? Or how do I get to whatever? But the reality is like just having a coach there to help you through something, even if they're not the best, is still better than nothing. And so like, if you want to get better at dancing, if you go take a dance lesson and get a coach to teach you one single lesson, that one lesson is going to change your trajectory forever. Because before that lesson, you're at a certain level of dancing that you don't have any sort of reference point to maybe, or if you have no coaching. But then when you bring in a coach, it's like able to define your growth and bring in someone else. And so like playing guitar, you don't just overnight, like it takes a long time to be proficient on an instrument, yet alone a complicated instrument like a guitar. Because if you compare a ukulele with a guitar's got 2 more strings, guitar's got twice as many frets on the board. It's like the reason why people will play the ukulele is because of how easy it is. You can learn how to play a chord progression in 5 minutes because it's like, oh, just push down this 1 fret on the bottom string and you have a chord. Whereas with a guitar, you got to deal with 6 strings and making sure that when you strum that chord, every single one of the notes on those 6 strings is in the same key. Otherwise, you're going to get dissonance. It's going to sound bad. But yeah, full circle, I feel like I'm a huge advocate. And I'm like constantly like talking to myself too, where it's like, bitch, you need to practice more. You need to practice doing podcasts more. You need to practice
is everything.
Practice setting up this gear. It's like until you just jump in and do a shoot like this and set it up, this is the best practice.
Doing it.
Guaranteed we're gonna get 5 episodes later and the viewers are gonna be able to be like, damn, they already are stepping it up. They already got a third camera in here, not just two.
Yeah.
They already got their setup is more dialed, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
That's that Kaizen. I think that's also a tattoo I feel like I have to get, because Kaizen is just like constant self-improvement.
Yeah.
And I was introduced the word through kendamas, which is like also a lesson on constant self-improvement. Because like the first time you pick up a kendama, even for me, I remember the first time I picked it up and it was so hard to just even get it on the cup. And then I think of once you practice and you get comfortable, now that's a piece of cake. But you're able to show yourself, whoa, if I just practice this every day, now I can spike it. And then like you give that more and more time. Same with skateboarding, same with skiing, same with like making art. Like that's like the like nature of evolution. And that's our part in evolution, in like our expressions, how our expressions evolve, or how what we create changes as we try different things. Like it's exciting.
Or just to loop back to what Adam was saying earlier, like what makes humans dope is that we have the ability to like think and choose. And so like we can choose to evolve in any direction that we want to go, whereas animals kind of have a set trajectory or template of where they're evolving to or where they came from, but we can go in any direction. Like on a macro scale of like thousands of years, but even just in our lifetime of like, I want to be really good at this, so I'm going to evolve in this direction. You know, we have the ability to do that.
Because I feel like with humans, it's past physical evolution.
Yeah.
It's gone to like mental and metaphysical evolution with things that are in the air that we can't see, like Bluetooth and the internet and technology. And like, that's where humans have been able to kind of branch off from other species, where like, we can also evolve our bodies. You can go from being a fat fuck to being chiseled, but also our minds.
Yeah, I think you're totally right, though, is that evolution from like the physical evolution of things, improvements happening so slowly over millions of years, like us to chimpanzees, you know, millions and millions of years. But like us having the internet and us having phones in our pockets and the ability to talk to each other instantly, all that stuff is just barely started.
Yeah.
And so the long-term effects of the internet and like the connectivity we have now are going to be pretty wild to see.
Because this is part of it.
How it affects our evolution.
The live stream, like when live streaming, I don't even know when live streaming was invented. That'll be a fun fact for the next. Oh yeah, broadcasting. But for the next episode, because I'm like thinking that there's so many other topics I want to dive into, but
save it.
We can save it for the next one. I'm hyped that we just got this first one, because like we've been like talking about this for a minute. Adam's going out of town tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
So, and also we're sitting on a podcast. So kind of what I'm thinking is like, maybe this week we drop the Great Scott podcast. Following week we drop this podcast, and then when you get back, we try and shoot one and get one the third week.
Yeah.
And if we can get on a one a week, live streaming it, like, and then we can get you guys to engage. Leave comments, and then Adam can read them to us and be like, hey, a dumb bitch number 4. Just kidding. I'm gosh. Sorry, guys.
Mike's
loyal supporter number 4.
Look, this is a safe place. I want the podcast to be fun. Don't take away swear words, please.
All good. We love our fans.
We covered it all today. We covered religion, swear words,
Survivor. Survivor for like a good 20 minutes.
We hit everything.
Hey, well, just keep on watching until the next one. You'll see what we'll talk about. You never know. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll catch y'all on the flip.
Ooh.
Take it easy.
Brought it back.
Let's go.
Catch y'all on the flip.
That's the vibe. I want to have that like on our backs on merch. Catch you on the flip. So when we're walking away, you see it. So wait, should we do a little intro like how we do it normally, or should we just do it like this new way and just not have that?
We don't need to.
I think that's simplified. We just do the intro when we start.
Yeah.
We did do like an intro.
Oh yeah. All right. Stop recording.
Just
stop.
That one.
All right.